heart's away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter how there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone, but no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Our lies will come tumbling.
Hashtag Scouts Megaphone Man at One Misty Barnes on Twitter.
Deny my place and
On we
time.
go.
This wonder world that's mine. My light will shine.
Welcome to another Sunday Night Live, 9 o'clock. Hashtag Scouts Megaphone Man. I released my midweek me live onto government via Twitter at number 10 and at UK Parliament. Still to this day, I've still not had a knock on the door or a phone call through my legal team or nothing on the Misty Barnes case, forced adoption, because that's what it is. Forced adoption at its best, and I can prove my local government perjured themselves and stole my child. They went back to court to defend their perjury and try and adopt my child, which leaves me fighting through my childhood, coping with my childhood, coping with what social services have done to me and my family. Still to this day, no justice in 5 year. And I'd like to ask Theresa May, why are my Facebook live feeds not a concern? You know, yesterday I put a picture up of me when I was a failed looked after child. This is the picture I put up on Facebook as a post, and this is me at 7 years of age at Lower Lee boarding school with child abuse back in the 80s. Now, I want to say thank you to Gillian Speak for leaving a comment, the ET comment. It's heartbreaking, you know, it's heartbreaking, and that's exactly why I'm here, because children are screaming to be heard. I've always said throughout my megaphone experience on the street that I would like to use my case as a lever bar for looked after children and more. It's now progressed onto it's my therapy to combat social care within the UK, because I do believe a combated social care in terms of social services is a successful police force and a successful NHS, because I do believe it's class cleansing at the very highest. It's targeting all the families at grassroots level, getting a reaction within the family when the social services first get involved with the family. There's a reaction, then there's police incidents, then there's meetings. One goes to the meeting and the other one stays at home, and then there's lies are being told, and there's domestic disputes, and the police have to no, go and clear it all up. So I do believe a successful social care is a successful therapy for me, because I've been that failed looked after child, like I've showed on my Facebook picture post that I put up. I was at that child's school for 6 years, all forms of abuse, locked in classrooms, had tables and chairs thrown at me. You can clearly see that I needed an haircut from this picture. I can't look at this picture properly to this day. I can't believe it's me, to be quite truthful with you. Thanks for everyone that shared last week's live. It means a lot, because I am your voice at the end of the day. I'm here for you people, for change, because there's many of you that have lost your children, and you might have done wrong, but a simple working with you could have made you be a better person. instead of just saying, right, no, that's it now, come on, long-term foster or adoption. And I do believe, because of the target rate of adoptions and long-term fostering, that is class cleansing at the best. Because when all these people come out of uni and they take their jobs, who do they look after? The government? Them people. I was due to go and get the insurance renewed on my car. Over £1,000. I've never had a claim. Ever. Never had a late payment on my insurance. Yet the insurance goes up all the time. Now, in hashtag Scouse Megaphone, man, I'd like to change that as well. I'd like to drive down household bills if I was a politician. And that would be one thing I would combat, is insurance, because it's a joke. Your insurance should be based on your driving record. But I don't want to go off forced adoption. I would like to say a big thank you for the £3 million to Tower Hamlets Police. I'd like to say that to the government. That's 39 more officers we could have on the street. £3 million to Tower Hamlets Police. And I'll shout for the police, because the children need to protect that. Any comments? Get your comments in. I'd like to ask Theresa May why my Facebook Lives are not concerned. Because if something stupid like, I don't know, George Galloway saying he's an MP on Facebook, if that's a concern and it gets raised in Parliament, well, I'll never. Because I'll sit here week in, week out, and I'm not challenged. So there must be some truth in what I'm saying on forced adoption. I'm now speaking for the child right across the board. Parents being alienated. The children suffer. Grandparents being alienated. Failing them on viability assessments when there's no need to. Social workers do that. And the children, they're grieving. They're screaming. And they're put into long-term foster. Then they're moved on to another long-term foster. And the thing is, social workers turn around and say, oh no, you can't put the child with that person because there's no connection. But there's no connection with the foster parent. And what else I'd like to raise is the fact that siblings are being taken, 3 or 4 kids, and they're being separated. That's affected them kids big time. Mentally and emotionally abusing them kids by separating them. So, the same very reason why you social workers remove children. Once you take these kids, you separate them. Even adoption. You adopt them 3 babies or 3 kids from one family. Say they meet up later on and have children. And this is something the government have got to take on board. You know? Social care is a big problem in this country. And social workers, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't now, because they've got a bad name on the street. And I think Theresa May should look into it, because social workers do need to be there. I put a t-shirt up this week, one of the old campaign t-shirts. Stop forced adoption. Child abuse within the Crown, I hate it. Baby P. I had about 20 of them hung on a washing line outside my council back in the day when I was megaphone man on the street protesting. And the council hated it. Old Grant Shapps stuck his head up this week. The same very person I was on a battle bus with, Grant Shapps, and it was all about my case. He doesn't know the ins and outs of it, but he's aware of it. And I'd like to say to Grant Shapps, what do you think of the MP Jackie Dole-Price turning her back on it? You know, the Misty Barnes case. Says it's a simple maladministration. No, it ain't. He's saying he's got 30 MPs wanting to have leadership and all this. Get asking Theresa May to stand down and all the rest of it. He didn't shine through with his little idea, because you need 48 to have a leadership contest. Maybe I've caused him fighting within Parliament. Maybe I have. Maybe there's a lot of MPs within the Conservative Party and not at all happy about Jackie Dole-Price MP. Hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man, week in, week out, accusing our local council of perjury, stealing my child, failing my child. I bet you half of her party I bet you that's why there's loads of infighting. These are probably MPs that are taking their job seriously, gone through special school and uni, throughout the whole life politics. And MP Jackie Dole-Price brings her party into disrepute by not giving me a voice on forced adoption. She's quick enough to draw her wages, and she's now the secretary to Jeremy Hunt. She's probably got a great big caseload. I'm loving the fact that she's got that big work caseload. But Theresa May, we've got to start having some accountability. I'll take my hat off to you, Donna, Electric Shock, Chris Griffin, the usual ones, you know, the Jackie Carnes, the Georgie, Kay Tippin, you know, Sheila Phillips. One day the government are going to listen to me, hashtag Scouse Megaphone Man on forced adoption, because I'm not going to go away. And every Wednesday, from now on, every Wednesday, it's going to be about you, my work engine, my people that get me out there to embarrass the establishment for change. Because that's what it's about. It's about change. Because these social workers, there's something else and they're the laws of themselves. So, I'd like to say thanks to every single one of you that get me out there. And I mean that. I'm going to do a Wednesday midweek live about you. So I'm going to do a post, stick all your comments on that post, and I'll touch on every single one of them if I can. I'll sit up all night and do it for a laugh. Because it's important that the government know how you're feeling, what you've gone through. And you know me, I'll say how it is because I'll say it is a quotation. And at the end of the day, it needs to be heard how you're feeling, what you've gone through, what you've experienced with social workers. And if I can put it forward for you, because I'm your voice, it goes on. It happened to me. Whatever you say on them comments is true because it happened to me. Social workers targeted me exactly the same way. They tried to put me in an assessment unit even though I didn't need to go. I refused to go to an assessment unit. And the judge commended me for that. Lynn Roberts commended me for not going. Because I said in court, if I'd have had domestic violence or I'd have had any criminal convictions for violence or any allegations, NFA with the police or anything like that, maybe I would have gone to this assessment unit, but I didn't. So there's no reason for me to go there. Putting me a future risk of harm with children around other people to be assessed is not a fair assessment. And I'm going to say this to the government. You're putting vulnerable people together around children and you're assessing them in these centres. That's pure mental and emotional abuse to a child, because if it sees a fracard, it's going to affect that child. So, again, Theresa May, I urge you to look into this social care, because the same very reasons why your social workers are removing children from the community, they're doing it themselves. They're just taking the children and putting them into care homes and just leaving them there to rack and ruin. Question.
Yes, comments.
Thanks, babes, for doing this tonight. Cheryl said, any comments coming through? I might want to read a few, so she's going to stick her hand up from time to time to read out a few of your comments to make it easier, then keep writing them all down. So, fire away, babes.
Right, Fran Ward, giving kids to non-family. In North Lincolnshire, children's lawyers and Kafkas conspiring to keep children from their families. Whole family court is corrupt. I've also got another one quick for you. Linda Black, trauma experts are employed for courts to make reports to make sure children are put at risk. So it's trauma experts people are asking about.
Trauma experts is in.
I think to do the people that are sitting down with the children and making up these reports saying the children have experienced a lot of trauma in their life with the families.
Well, the thing is, this is where I'll come into it, because I do believe advocates that work for the families should have access to the children. Now, I've been an advocate for the few families and I've not once been had access to any of the children. So that's not fair. And when they're being assessed by this local authority, it's not independent and it's not fair. A true, transparent an accountable report. It's fabricated. What they do is they go on the social worker's notes and history, read up on all that, and then what they do is they talk to the child, and then they put ideas or ask the child. It's like giving the child the answer to the questions, the way they'd ask the child the questions. Now, when this report's done, this toffee nose will only speak to this child about 3 or 4 times. Thousands of pounds this toffee nose will get. Been through university. This is a form of class cleansing, creating jobs for the snobs. So there, we've got someone, they might be doing all the good intention, and they might be think they're doing the right job and the right report by going on the paperwork. But again, it comes back to the social worker, you know, code of conduct, criminal law being broken, because so many untruths are being told in cases and in reports. It's by the time the family gets to court, it's bad news. Go on.
Marie Keegan Thomas, there is a lot of copying and pasting. Noticed on my paperwork says him or her. As in they've copied it and not put the child's name, so just him or her, or the mum or him or her.
The thing is, what we've got in these councils up and down this country is they've got extravagant wages, cutting and pasting. And I did it in my case. That the wrong baby, wrong sex, wrong council. Took it to court. I don't know how it's still stood up in court. And cutting and pasting that's going on. It's shocking. And the supervisors that are doing the supervision of these social workers, why are you allowing them to practice this? This goes right to the top. Cutting and pasting. Because I can prove it on my own paperwork. Leaders, chief executives, stage 2 panel stuff, and it's crazy. Thanks for logging on tonight. Please share this, because I'll send these videos every week to government without fail. And not once have I had a knock on my door or a phone call, the government want to shut me up. This is a form of class cleansing, social services, creating jobs for the snobs to judge us people. Excuse me, but I've done 13 years on the scaffold. Give a pound of sweat every single day, week in, week out, and that's the way I'm treated by social services. I'll see myself as a good parent, going to work, working hard, doing the right thing, and that's how I got treated, just like you get treated. And once social services, once social services are in your life, you can't breathe. You can't even go and get a job. And with this universal credit, I'm getting people contacting me, crying their eyes out, saying, Jack, Scouts, I've accumulated rent arrears because of this universal credit, and I've got social services on my back. They're saying I've made myself voluntarily homeless because I've not paid me rent. They're not understanding that the fact that there's universal credit is messing people about, and people are taking up to 6 to 8 weeks to get any money. They're not taking into account of that, social workers. And I urge you, Theresa May, before you roll out this universal credit, is your social care equipped for it? Because children are being failed systematically. There's children going to school hungry, and the universal credit's adding to that. Go away, fire away, babe.
Anna Farmer. I was allowed to keep my grandchildren as long as I proved to SS that I would choose them over my daughter and turn my back on her, which I did. But then they gave them back to her as soon as she left her violent partner. So it's all mind games and playing with families, whether they are taking kids or not. They are nothing to do with keeping families. They break them no matter what.
Who was that?
Anna Farmer.
Thanks a lot for that, Anna Farmer, and you're right, because they're causing the child a chaotic lifestyle. That's 3 moves an hour long. You know, they've gone from into care, then they've gone placed with you or whatever. The trauma of that, unbelievable. And the kids feel the trauma the parents are going through. The child is in foster care, knowing it's going through a 26-week court process. I've been through the care system. And when you're stuck in a foster parent's house, grieving for your mum or your dad, it's horrible. It's horrible, and you fret as a child. And you develop behaviours. Anger, won't listen, want to go into the fridge and eat all the food. That's what these kids do. Oh, the kid went into the fridge one morning and ate all the food because the parents never fed it. And no bollocks. The kid wants to rebel once it goes into foster care. You know, develops problems, wants to go all quiet and doesn't want to talk to any professionals. Wants to go home. And I'll say to you, government, we should be assessing kids coming into the care system and leaving the care system. Because the amount of kids that are leaving the care system, 40%, failed. For the same very reason social services are removing children. Where's the accountability in that? Talk about pot called kettle black. For the council and their social care, they even broke the law and still couldn't beat me. They couldn't. They broke the law countless times and still could not be good for the council. How do you feel? Fire away, babes.
Marie Keegan-Thomas, I can't stand these adopters abusing me by putting loads of pictures on Facebook of my daughter. Surely that's a breach.
Now, if the parent's not allowed to put pictures of their children on Facebook, what the hell are the adopted family doing putting pictures of their child on Facebook for the family to see it? Because it's obviously the family are going to troll the internet. So I urge you, Theresa May, any children that are adopted, these adopted parents are putting these children at future risk of harm by putting their pictures on Facebook. So that is a failed adopted process in my eyes, you know. Fire away, babes.
Chris Griffin, Jack, the local authority get assessments done then commit perjury in court to stop the child or children coming home.
Social workers go into court on a regular basis. And I'll say to any judges and barristers, why are the social workers believed so much? Why are the social workers not held to account? Even in the Misty Barnes case. Assessments being done unlawfully, not properly, and I can prove it. And these assessments, they cost a hell of a lot of money. And when you look at the finished product of this assessment, it's bad. And it's to the extent that you can actually see the lines in the paper, where some of it's been cut and pasted from a social worker's statement. Go on, babes.
Louise Bent, my son's foster carers wanted to keep my son and social services told her no. She had had him since 5 days old because she wanted me to still see him 3 times a week. I was seeing him. She was seeing him 3 times a week. The foster carer wanted to keep the kid so that she could still see him, and the social services said no.
So, if it's not about keeping families together, Theresa, mate, what is that? Who was that, babes?
That was Louise Bent.
So, Louise Bent, I'm going to give a shout out for you, and I think this is bad government, the fact that there's a foster carer here who wants to do what's right for social services and do what it says. Keep families together. And this is a foster parent that's had this child for quite some time, Louise Bent's child, and now you're going to give it a council lifestyle and move it on. When in theory, this foster parent could work with this mother and probably do a good reunification of this child. And I'll say to you, government, why don't you want that? Is that because you want to target this child later and remove her children like you did to me? Is that why you don't want this foster parent to work with this mother? And I'll say to you, Louise Bent, thank you very much for all the sharing you've been doing and all the rest of it. It's a sham, the whole lot of it. Social services right across the board, because let's not forget our children. We can't forget our old people as well. You know, selling off all their assets because of social services. Leaving them to have bed sores in the beds in the hospital, taking up all the beds. That's what social workers do. They're there for themselves, mate. Making money. It's all about the money. Sell all your assets, put you in this place here. And then you've got people that working in these places, battering these old women and these old men, treating them horrible. Do you know, and they're paid to go in there. You know, so social services right across the board's failing. Fire away, babes.
I've got 2 and a few more to read after, but Anna Farmer, it was Sophie's choice. They made me choose between my daughter and my grandchildren. It's sick. And Louise Bent, I was never allowed to meet my son's adoptive parents because they knew I would tell them the truth that he was stolen on forced adoption.
See, and I say to you, government, I get quite a few families contacting me now wanting to find their adopted children. Now, once they become of age, government, I'm going to help them do that, because if I'm doing good and I'm not doing no harm, then I'm going to do it. Fire away, babes.
We've got a lighter note. Your sister, in response to you saying going down and eating all the food, she said, put that crust back.
So when my sisters wrote a comment saying put that crust back, that means when we was kids and we was living in a family home, we had a horrible stepdad that used to batter us all the time. So I was battered at home and battered at the boarding school. When I went home at weekends, I was battered at home, and when I went to school, I was battered in the boarding school. And my stepdad used to always beat us up if we had the crust. I used to do it on purpose, you know. Please get your questions coming in. Share this at One Misty on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube, #ScousMegaPhone, and thank you to everybody that shares my posts. All you people in the States, Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines, and Africa. I've got quite a few African people contacting me lately, and I think it's good. And they give me some good messages, you know. You're fantastic, you're brilliant, you're this, and it's mad how far people watch me from, you know. Fire away, babes.
Linda Black, there is a 13-year-old girl, Paige Lucas, has run away from care 3 times. She's advertised today on Bedfordshire Police Facebook. I've shared it. Why don't they listen to the girl?
Like, what's her name?
Paige Lucas.
Paige Lucas. I'm going to give a shout out, and I want to give a shout out for this Paige Lucas to contact me on Facebook. When she contacts me, I'll go and meet her. I'll go and meet her with my missus or with someone else, a professional. This child, I'll give you a voice, Paige Lucas. Is that it?
Paige Lucas, yeah.
I'll give you a voice. If you run away from care and you feel like you're not being listened to, contact me. I live in Essex, in Thurrock. I'll meet you and find out what's going on and why you're not being listened to. If I can help you, I'll help you. So please, anybody who knows this Paige Lucas, get her to inbox me. We can sort some arrangement out to give her a voice, you know, because looked after children are screaming to be heard. And these social workers, they don't listen to these children. These are, oh, it's a self-harmer, put them in this establishment. Oh, no, don't no, he's got problems. They're not listening to these kids, and I don't want to say why. Is because they're going to target these kids later when they leave care. These social workers know these children are going to have children at 18, 19, 20. They know that. And they're on the radar constantly now. It's a form of class cleansing at the highest level. It's their economy wheel, so to speak, and it'll just cycle on and cycle on unless someone like me gets out there properly and stops this forced adoption and children screaming to be heard right across the board. Any more comments coming after you, babes?
You have... Oops. Linda Black said, thank you for what you just touched on. Chris Griffin, Jack, what can a person do when all assessments are void?
If you can prove your assessments are void, prove it. Because I did in my own case, when my assessment was done, I read my assessment, I read all my notes, because I love social care records, mate. I love going through them, because I don't know why, but I'm dab-hand at it. Went through all my social care records, went through them again, and started going, hold on a minute, I've just read that in the social worker's final statement of fact. And then I got the final statement of fact of the social workers and my psychological or the psychiatric assessment. Which one was it? One of them?
Psychiatric.
I married them up. It was the social worker's statement. So I could prove it. So when I got to court, didn't say a word. Got to court, final trial, when she was on the stand, bang, it was mentioned. Why is this? You know? So it was discredited. They was trying to get the psychological assessment overturned. They was doing their best to do it. And I'll take my hat off to the guy that did that assessment. He stood by what he said, and it was independent, fair, and to this day, he's right, because we've had no problems. So, these assessments, they are copied and pasted from the records, and it shouldn't be. These assessments are carried out, sometimes they don't even meet the parents, and they're doing assessments. Oh yeah, I've seen the paperwork. No. Far away, babes.
Kenneth Curran, Stop Child Abuse and Child Exploitation UK and elsewhere. Carlo Kelly says, you're doing a great job, I am adopted.
Would you like to see your adopted family, you know? Our campaign is a children's rights campaigner, and your Thurrock online news gave me that title as a children's rights campaigner. I'm a governor to be down at Harris Academy, Mayflower at Chafford 100. It's got an Ofsted outstanding report recently. And I'll give children a voice. Our specialised social care have lived every part of it. And I'll say to the government, what do you know? Because I've lived it. Fire away, babes.
Marie Keegan-Thomas, I think I might be able to answer this one as well. I've got a LAC review tomorrow. What's the best app to download? I wish there was an app to download, to be quite honest. That's just one of them back to basics, old school pen and paper, isn't it?
If you've got a LAC review meeting, you need to be taking minutes in terms of making notes yourself, or get someone to go with you who makes notes. You can ask for minutes for the meeting. Make sure there's someone there taking minutes for the local authority or the social worker. There should be someone, a chair, and there should be someone with the chair who's taking notes to the meeting. So you need to be asking them if you can have a copy of them minutes. Before or after the LAC review meeting's finished. So do it while you're there. Any more advice on a LAC review meeting, babes? Don't lose your temper, show no emotion.
Don't
in
let
terms
them
of crying and all the rest of it. I know social workers say some horrible things because they said it to me countless times. But try your best not to show no emotion. Don't be getting up walking out, don't swear, don't say it's corrupt and you're stealing kids, and because it just makes you look bad. Just focus on your own case, please. If you've got a chance to try and work with the local authority, to try and get a resolution meeting and try and work with the authority, you know, because you've got to do it. It doesn't matter how much you don't want to do it, you've got to do it. We need to unite as well. We're starting to gel together a bit more, I say, in the last week, since the last Facebook Live. It seems to me that we're starting to gel a bit more now. We got the trolls out the way. We know who trolls and we know who don't. As a group, as a community, because that's what we are, a failed community. And our children have suffered, and they're still suffering to this day. Children want to come home. Fire away, babes.
Gillian Speaks just joined. She said, hi, well done, silenced voices need you.
Thanks a lot, Gillian Speak. Big shout going out to you, hat off to you. I did look at your thing about E.T. It's bad, and years ago when I was a child, I felt looked after child. You didn't really have places like this. It was more boarding school and secure units and stuff. And you was just a naughty child. Now it's like ADHD and you got all these kind of illnesses. So the reason why they give these child these illnesses and start giving it medication, straight away as a child, they're labelled for when they leave care. So they don't even know yet, these children that are taking this medication and are in these establishments. Probably these children don't need medication. You need to work the aggression on these children. Because it's all right to say, oh come on, let's sit down, let's let it out, come on, let's talk about it. Yeah, you are letting it out, but you're not letting it out physically, so it's always going to be there. And that hashtag Scouse Megaphone, man, I do believe in working aggression. Making that child be aggressive, working that aggression, let him get it out. Now we can shower him, now we can give him a hot drink, now we can stick him in front of a fish tank, now we can talk to him on a different level. Do you know what I mean? Instead of using these kids as guinea pigs for your untested or your medication that you want to apply to these kids, oh, we'll give it to them, we'll see if what this does for anti-depression. Do you know what I mean? Why aren't we doing this with the paedophiles in prisons, trying to cure children's diseases? Do you know what I mean? Ease them spaces in the jails. The government don't want us sitting here saying this. All the child killers, Gillian Huntleys and everyone else. Why are we paying 40? Why is he sitting in his cell playing PlayStation, watching TV, the little mug? We're paying for that. And I'll say to you, government, these kids taking this medication, Gillian, I'm going to shout it out loud, girl. It's ruthless. And all these children need is a voice like mine to listen to, and an ear to listen to them. You know, I'd love to work with a really angry child who's about 12, 13, you know, doesn't want to listen, thinks he can fight everybody, you know. I'd love to work with just one and show the government what I can fucking do, because I'm thrust passion for change, and that's what I believe in. You know, getting a grip of these kids in jail, stop giving them medication, and in these institutions around this country within social services where these children are being kept from as young as 3, 4, 5, taking medication. And try my method, my impact method, for these failed kids that are angry. Because the parents, how many parents in this country are suffering in silence at the hands of the child? I mean, it's going on in the UK. And once they get into social services, they can't cope. And then the police are involved, they can't cope. Health and safety. Fire away, babes.
Louise Bent, I have done every single therapy there is and it still wasn't good enough. They still stole my children and said I needed more therapy. If that isn't corruption at a high level, then I don't know what.
And who said that, babes?
Louise Bent.
And Louise Bent, I'm going to echo your words. You're right. It's class cleansing. They're going to keep you on the cycle wheel like a bleeding hamster. That's what they're going to do with you. They can't do it with me because they know I battered the granny out of them social workers in court. I wiped the floor with their legal team, and Borough Council damn well know that. And social services wouldn't dare come near me. I'm not on their wheel no more like an hamster, but you lot are, and that's why I'm staying here for you people, because I'm sick and tired of it, mate. Watching you people go through it. And Teresa, mate, you've got to take note of this. You're going to have a reshuffle in your cabinet. Maybe you might like to introduce someone like #Scouts Megaphone Man into your cabinet for social care, to try and make it be the best of what it could be. Because I tell you, Teresa, mate, social workers need to be there. They've got a bad name. And we need to stop this bad name. We need to do what it says, work with the families. There's a Louise Bent there, you could be working with this woman. You know, the same very woman who's got her kids into foster parents, who wants to work with this family, the foster parents, but you're going to cause this kid a chaotic lifestyle, Louise Bent's child, a movie. You know, ruthless. Carry on, babes.
Marie Keegan-Thomas. How can I work with someone who's trying to break my family and now trying to target my son because I won't give up on my girls? Blackmail.
It's absolutely shocking, Teresa May, how these social workers conduct themselves. What council this? When you leave your comments, please put a council in on that, because I'd like to mention the council. You know, I'm not going to touch on your case, but I'm going to tell them how you feel. You know, and the councils need to be told. Fire away, babes.
2 things. Marie Keegan-Thomas said, thank you both for your advice. Just mentioned what I am like. Laugh out loud. Duly noted.
Good luck on your meeting. Is that the LAC review?
Yeah.
Good luck in your LAC review meeting. Just make sure you ask for notes. Ask the chair, and also ask the person who's taking the notes. And echo that before and at the end of the meeting. Fire away, babes.
Carl O'Kelly. What do you think of all the babies found dead in the mother and baby home in Scotland?
I've not had a heads up on that. We've been so busy.
If you can be sent any kind of link, you'll look it up.
Sent me a link. I'll look it up. I'll mention it on Wednesday, midweek live. I've touched on 3 babies at 5 council. All died at the hands of social services, or the social services have failed these 3 kids and they've died at 5 council within the space of 4 months. There was an MP from Scotland today I was listening to, Conservative MP. What was the name? Rutherford?
Ruth.
Rutherford.
Can't think of her, something like that, yeah.
She was a nice girl. I liked her. I'm going to be following her. She's a Conservative MP. She's going against the sturgeon. And I think she's a nice girl. I like her. I've seen her on Andrew Marr today, and I quite took a shine to her. So I had to turn on to Heston this morning, and I had to watch that as well, because this Scottish lady, she's an up and coming, and she's gonna do well, I think. Fire away, babe.
Claire Harold. Oh my God! Don't get me started on the nonsense. Waste of oxygen. They should all be used for experimentation.
Exactly,
Big
and
long
that's
word.
what. Who said that, babes?
That's Claire Harold.
Thanks a lot for that, Claire Harold. And if you go back all my live videos, you'll see that I've been screaming for quite some time for paedophiles to be used to cure children's diseases as a children's rights campaign. That's part of my campaign, because children are screaming to be heard. Fire away, babes.
Linda Black. They have people in schools going in, mentoring them with sports activities in Luton, encouraging troubled children, etc. But then she's also put one saying they also have brackets Chums organisation, which work with children who suffer from bereavements.
It's the government say it's not for profit, and it clearly is, because by the time the money gets down to the looked after child, there's nothing left for any therapy or any counselling or anything like that. And I'll say, government, sorry Bobs,
Go on, you're right. Go on, you carry on. I'll read it afterwards.
regarding this paedophile stuff, letting agents, estate agents and councils up and down this country putting our children at future risk of harm by putting these paedophiles, scum the earth, back into our community. I'd like to say to you, government, the same very reason why your social workers are removing children, future risk of harm, and your councils are putting our kids at future risk of harm, our letting agents, our estate agents, and I think we should be taking these on to try and force the government's hand into doing something else with the paedophiles, get them out the prisons. Because I've got friends in prison. I'll take my hat up to every prisoner that's watching me tonight, who watches me, because I have prisoners following me, sending me messages, sending me photos, all laughing at the government like they do. And I'll say to you, Mr. Livingston, it's your fault because you don't address me week in, week out. You haven't got a grip of the jails, our Justice Secretary, hence why all the boys in prison would like to watch me on a Sunday. They think I'm quite funny, I'll say to you, Theresa May. These paedophiles taking up all these jail spaces, and we can't have a zero tolerance on crime in this country because these little mugs are taking up our jail spaces. And all these prisoners in prison that are foreign, they'd love to just go back home. Why can't we send them home? We commit a criminal offence in their country, we're sent home. So I do believe social services are their class cleansing at the highest level. They don't want to work with the kids, they don't want to work with the family. And I'll say to you, government, you say one thing and your social services are doing another. Why is that not an issue? Because it's creating jobs for the snobs. They're creators of class cleansing. Social workers. We're not going to call it child abductors. We're not going to call it child trafficking. We're not going to call it that. We're going to call it class cleansing at the highest level. Organised class cleansing. And I'm going to send this video on to government, like the rest. And we'll see if they address the issue. You know, because social care is on its knees, mate. Does it want me going to court? What is your judicial system worth, government, on forced adoption? Because I'm going to legally commit treason on forced adoption. And I'm going to bring the government social care down to its knees, mate, begging me. Fire away, babes.
Thank you. Diane Edwards. Jack, I'm with you regarding Thurrock Council. SS tell lies about my children.
Social services up for the council. They were going to be the very same social workers I was going to train and induct. And I didn't take the job on because they didn't want to put cameras on social workers at Thurrock Council as a test pilot. So I said, I don't want to do it then. And I'll say to you, government, why can't you put me in charge of a council with their social care for me to do what I want to do and see if I can make it a better place? Because I do believe I could turn around your social care especially for a council, the first thing I'll do is put cameras on the social workers. And then the 26-week court processes, the target, the processes that they should meet would be met. Because 26 weeks is not enough for the council. And any other council that have known this isn't met, that, oh, we need more time for that. And the people that are given the influx, they're giving all their evidence towards your case. They're not even turning up at court and backing up what they've wrote. And I'll say to you, government, why is that? The social workers in my case, the initial response, la-di-da-di-da, why wasn't all them at court backing up their evidence? But it was left to the social worker that took her and wanted to adopt her. The long-term social worker. She was part of the what team, babes?
Family support, I think.
And we got no support. We got no support. What she did do was take all the other social workers' evidence, little pieces and snippets from it, and made her own bit. What made me look like an armed robber, terrorist. I pumped my dogs with steroids. Oh, it was crazy. And when she stood on the stand, this social worker, and was saying all this shit, because that's what it was, I couldn't believe it. I mean, my barrister, I'll take my hat off to the barristers. Marcia Hyde and Mr. Darren Watts. They smashed the granny out of the social worker on the stand. And it was funny to watch. I was writing on bits of notes, poking the barrister, giving it to the barrister. The barrister then said what was on the note. You should see the social worker crumbling on the stand. All her skin was inflamed, scratching, visibly upset on the stand. Dropped the folder on the floor, poked the barrister, here's another note, asked her another question. The judge went away to see if I was a violent armed robber. Came back to the stand. He's never been to Belmarsh prison for violent armed robbery. The social work was a mess. Persian at guy's level. Where's that trees, mate? What about that? The secret family courts, mate. Not in #Scouts Megaphone, man. Because I'm not gagged. And that's why I'm here. For justice and change. Change for you people. And the government will drag me in them offices in a couple of weeks. Come on, Scouts, hang on. What about this? Yeah, look at this money here, look. Let's call it a day. I'm your voice. And if foreign council seem to think that they're going to do that to me, I'll go and listen, and I'll see it, and I'll share it with you people. Yeah. I'm going to share it with you people because I want Jeremy Corbyn and all the others to see. Because they're not there to hold government to account. Where do I turn on forced adoption? Where do I turn? In the Misty Barnes case, on forced adoption, for my work engine, you people, if I can't hold the government to account, where do I turn? Because I'll shout for Donald Trump. He's meant to be the most powerful man in the world. Where is he? All them MPs, the infighting within in the Parliament, the Conservative MPs. How many of them MPs feel sorry for me? And I reckon there's quite a few. Now, back in the day I was going on about my emails, my MPs' emails, all sued the arses off the council, you know. I reckon the Conservative Party's up in arms over the Misty Barnes case. There's a guy there on Facebook taking the right mickey out of Parliament and no one's doing anything and we're furious about it. How do you feel? Gutted that I can sit here every week and take the piss out of their judicial system. Thought a council perjuring themselves, nicking kids. They probably did it to you and got a reaction. And it gag you the minute you say anything. Any more questions, Pam?
Yeah, we have...
Kaylee Marie Morgan, thanks a lot for everything you do in your crowd.
She's just popped back on actually.
Has
She couldn't watch it till she got home, but she just popped on.
Never, oi, I'm telling you my trolls are quiet and there's a reason for that. Go on, babe.
Carlo Kelly says you should come over to Ireland and do your thing. And Louise Bent says Birmingham City Council has been inadequate for 5 years. I've lost all of my children for adoption because I was a failed looked after child abused in every way possible by Cannock Social Services, Staffordshire.
Cannock?
Cannock.
That's up by Stoke-on-Trent, up that way, isn't it?
I hope I said that right.
Cannock, and I'll say to you, government, this is another woman, you're taking 5 of her kids, what's her name, babes? Adopted them.
Hang on, I've just gone.
Now you're probably going to target her. This woman probably thrives to be a mother.
It's Louise Bent. They've been inadequate for 5 years.
It's just Louise Bent again.
Yeah.
Government, why? Unbelievable. Louise, please. I've got my hand on my heart and I mean what I say. I'm going to be given a list of names and yours is going to be one of them. Dawn Copcourt is another one. You know? I am going to be putting these names in there because it's a piss take. It's a piss take, and I'm going to show the government, look what's going on, and I'm going to use your cases to do it. Look what's going on, look at this pattern. Go on, babes.
Linda Black, Marcia Hyde. She has black hair.
Marcia Hyde.
Short black hair, local authority solicitor or barrister. She's definitely not a local authority solicitor or barrister.
She was my barrister, Marcia Hyde. She was Cheryl's barrister. She reminds me of Harry Potter. Short hair, glasses.
She's not going to appreciate
Without
that.
being rude, I'm not being offensive by that. She was excellent, Marcia Hyde. She was got by BTMK finder and Darren Watts. They bounced off each other. Normally they're against each other in court, but they bounced off each other. Fantastic woman. Absolute fantastic woman. She'll tell you how it is, and I like that. I like her so much to the fact that Marcia Hyde said to my missus throughout the whole trial process, your child might not come home. And I love her so much for this. Because I didn't want my missus getting confident. I wanted to act right in court and not get confident. And Marcia Hyde did this and said to Cheryl throughout the whole process, this doesn't look good, this won't happen, this won't happen. But I was confident. And my barrister, Darren Watts, he didn't really talk to me much about the case because he was quite confident on the evidence and what I was saying. We was going to do something. And this Darren Watts, I'll take my hat off to this guy so much. I met him a couple of weeks ago in the family court at Chelmsford. He was involved in another case and he was so happy to see me and was so happy the fact that I was still helping families in the court process. But I was trying to tell him that every time I get involved with a family in the court process, I end up being a dirty dog. But at the same time, I do see what social services get involved with at times when I do believe their case. Carry on, babes.
2 things. One's Kaylee Marie Morgan. Tell Jack, police told me I'm not even allowed home. She'll have to send us a bit more on that.
Send us a bit more on that, Kaylee Marie Morgan. You're not allowed home. And
your sister has put... Sorry, it's all flicking through, so... My social worker let me go with a man at 15, gave me £1,000, off you go. I did. I had 3 kids to this man and had a life of abuse and control. Now I have met a man that shows me love. I can have a glass of wine or a cigarette when I want and doesn't try to make me take tablets with vodka.
Who was that?
That's your sister.
Oh, that was my sister. It's very hard for me to touch on this because it's on a personal level. But social services failed badly. Put your complaint in at your local council, sis, and I'll follow you up on that and I'll have you back on it and I'll come to every meeting you've got. Any litigation you get back off the council, I want to see it and we'll take it in my direction and I'll show you which way we go on it. Because you was failed and it does come under historical child abuse and we can prove it. So if you want to do it, sis, I'll have you back on that. But at the same time, this is a personal thing and it's hard for me to touch on it, like I said. Moving on. Kaylee Marie Morgan. Because of David Jenkins stalking and harassing me, police fear for my safety due to what he did to his ex. Plus side, I start therapy this week. There's a bit of a one to throw in next to that. David Jenkins is a name from the past. He's been fighting so long for his case. I don't know how he's still fighting, to be honest. Either your kid's gone to long-term adoption or long-term foster. It doesn't sound like it's a forced adoption case if he's still going through his court process. But if he feels the need to sit there and threaten you, Kaylee Marie Morgan, the best thing to do is get away from him, you know. You've done the right thing and contacted the police, but it doesn't look good in your case, the fact that you haven't now got a safe home for your kids to come to. So bear that in mind, please, Kaylee Marie Morgan, and try and move if you can, and get out the way. This name keeps cropping up, but I'm not going to say too much. I think he's part of Scott.uk, wasn't it, Babs?
Yes.
I don't talk to him personally. I don't have nothing to do with Scott.uk. I've got my own issues on that, and I'm not going to go into it. But
I think it's one of them less said the better type. Wouldn't waste your energy, wouldn't waste your chat on it, to be quite honest.
I've been busy this week, training hard. I've gone back into training just to work that aggression. Had my hypnotherapy tapes playing. I feel fit, I feel strong, I feel mentally strong. I'm due to go back down the gym tomorrow with my son. I'm going to take my son down there. Now he's 7 years of age, I'm going to start engaging him in jiu-jitsu, and getting on a few little bits of light speed work with the speedball and stuff. I'm going to train him up. Fire away, babes.
Marie Keegan Thomas, I lost my daughter over domestic violence. Now they won't give her back because of an attachment with the doctors. Psychologist said my daughter would have past trauma at 2 months old, so lost her from risk of future emotional harm.
And again, it's...
How can they say a 2-month-old's going to have... Oh, it's going to have trauma now because of what it's seen? Yet, if you take a case that we can talk about, like our own,
yeah.
Are they going to say Misty's suffered trauma then being forcibly removed from her parents at a month-old?
Yeah.
Can't have it both ways.
You traumatised my daughter, removing her at such an early age and then giving her back. Social workers do what they want in this country. And I'll say to you, government, I don't urge anybody committing any criminal offences. And I don't ask anyone to, and I don't want no one to. But there's going to be that family that's going to lose control. And I'll say to you, government, when they do, I'm going to shout their corner. Because this is a form of class cleansing. And if a family takes the law into their own hands, I'll blame you, Theresa May. The blood's on your hands. Because, and you, Mr. Lidington, the Justice Secretary, the blood's on your hands as well. If a family takes the law into their own hands regarding their children and social workers, I'm going to be there so quick, screaming on my megaphone. The blood's on your hands, Theresa May, and yours, Mr. Lidington, for not addressing forced adoption, social workers, or law to themselves. It's going to happen. There's too much heartache. There's too many threats on social media. If I thought anyone was going to carry out any sort of criminal offence against a social worker, I'd report it. And I'd have to. Because if someone told me, I'd have to report it, because I wouldn't want to be seen to be being told and not doing anything about it, and something did happen. So I urge anybody who's involved in my community on forced adoption, parents being alienated, children screaming to be heard, don't commit an offence on my behalf, because I don't agree with it. I've come so far, and we need to keep the moral high ground. We do as a community need to keep the moral high ground, because I think we're the only community up to now, part of #Scouts Megaphone Man, that hasn't committed an offence. We haven't set nowhere on fire, we haven't done no graffiti, we haven't been protesting and caused loads of disturbances with the police and having to be spoken to. The police have turned up at a protest I've done, but they've sat there smiling at me because I scream for them as well, because children need a protector, believe it or not. My campaigns will always shout for the police. They will always shout for the police, because the children need a protector. I'll take my hat off to Silent Justice. They should be part of government funding. £1 million a year. Boom, there you go. What computers do you need? What spyware do you need? Bam, there you go. I have the fucking lot. Because this Shane and his team is second to none. And if I ever come into any money, rest be assured, the money's coming your way, Silent Justice, from me personally. Because I admire what you do. And I just scream for any child that is being approached by anybody by a paedophile to contact these people and put them onto them. If anybody gives me the heads up on paedophiles, that's what I do with them. I put them onto my friends as silent justice, because we need to have an alternative for these paedophiles.
Claire Ritson, exactly, otherwise they can say, oh look, it was justified, and we are playing right into their hands.
Exactly, and this is why I don't commit criminal offences, you know. I've been on top of the High Court on the roof regarding my childhood case, Lower League child abuse, boarding school child abuse, and I climbed onto the top of the High Court and I protested alone. 4 weeks later I had it all sorted, it was all sorted. I shut the whole court for a day. Now, I'm not here to do that, and I promised to Judge Lynn Roberts that I would not climb any roof, and I still won't to this day, because you won't be heard. Climb roofs, you will not be heard. You'll be brought down, arrested and gagged. We need to do some other form of protesting. I mean, rugby stadiums on a live football game. Get your banners out. Hashtag Scouts Megaphone Man, forced adoption. Let's all get it out there, you know. And I'll say to the government, I know I'm hurting your credibility week in, week out. And I'll say to all you community, the bark's worse than the bite. And for me to sit here, slating social care, knowing I've got a bag full of ideas in rolling funds, hashtag Scouts Megaphone Man, for social care, the government hates it. And there's quite a few MPs that are furious to see me week in, week out doing this. And I love the fact, because address the issue. Why is it not getting addressed? People contact me and say to me, you're Facebook famous. Maybe I am. And I love the fact, because there's children screaming to be heard. And if I'm getting out there, I'm going to be so happy. The fact that I'm embarrassing the government week in, week out. And that should make you happy. The fact that you're sharing my post and go, the government's going to fucking hate that. Share it. I love you people. I'll never ask for funding, ever. I'll never ask you to turn up at a great big protest. What I will ask is you to share it. And that's all I ask. If I ever get a protest together, it will be for my court date. When I go to court with the council on forced adoption in the Misty Barnes case, I will let it be known when I'm in court, and that will be my protest day. To show the government I'm not messing about with this. I'm going to court. And they can offer me £10 million, £100 million, £100 million. That could make a lot of children smile. It's not the money, it's the power. I want the power, not the money. And the reason I want the power is because I want to be able to put cameras on social workers. I want to be able to stop these old people in hospital beds getting bed sores and being left because the social workers have run down at work. They've got a good system in place. It needs polishing up. And we need to have accountability. We need to have these social workers in a criminal court answering to what they've done. And we need to have a start on that with the Mr. Barnes case. Siobhan Connu was my social worker who tried to steal my child, or she did steal my child. She went back to court in the final hearing and stole it and tried to adopt it. But the government don't want to address the issue. Why is that not? If I go and take the social worker's child now, she done it to me. She stood in a court and took my child and committed perjury. If I cross her threshold and I steal her child off her, I've not committed an offence nowhere near as bad as what she did. But I'll still be held to account. I'd love to go and do it, but I'd never do it. And the reason I wouldn't do it is because I've got to go through the proper channels on forced adoption and legally in this country commit treason on forced adoption. Because these powdered kegs in the paperwork in the Misty Barnes case, they're going to move them in a hurry. And they know we're going to court. I'm looking forward to it. Because I'm taking my counsel for the council to court on perjury, stealing my child. I'm serving, I'm not going to go and have any tennis. I'm serving and they haven't got a bat and I'm going to ace every serve. My council's already said sorry. We accept all liability. Sorry. They've said that. Children's safety is a paramount. Load of rubbish. Because you're failing my son at the same time. To the extent where I've had to go to the Priory to get a full lengthy report on it, the damage it's done to him, where they failed him. The same social worker that stole my child on future risk of harm, left my son all forms of abuse, same manager. Fire away, babes.
Two things. One, your sister's put, and she was mine. That's touching on that you had the same social worker, both of you as children, as we did as adults.
Now, there was a social worker, I'm not going to name her for legal reasons. She was the same social worker as when I was a child. My sister can remember the social worker. So now what you've got, Theresa May, is a whole different ball game, because the social care records, why can't I have them from Liverpool? The social workers in the Misty Barnes case will use my social care records in my childhood to try and adopt my child. When I try and apply for my social records when I was a child, we can't find them, there is none. What a load of rubbish. Now, I think I can prove my social worker that stole Misty Barnes, my child, and said I was a terrorist, was the same social worker from when I was a child. I am 43 years of age. It's an whole different ballgame, government, if this is the case. My sister can still remember the social worker. Now you've got an issue. A whole different ballgame. And I urge you, BTMK, look into this. You know, why can't my legal team have my social care records? They're asking for them. I've been asking for them. Liverpool, Cheshire, where are they? Is it because I'm right what I'm saying? Theresa May, is the whole shit got a lot more worse on the fan? Say again, Bobs?
We need your sister to apply for her records as well.
Just like your sister, you should be applying for your social care records. Let's see if they give them to you. Because this government, they don't want to listen. It's only a matter of time before there's a parent that takes the law into their own hands. And I'm going to hear about it. And I'm going to swoop on it like you don't believe. Fire again, babe.
Marie Keegan-Thomas, my daughter has cerebral palsy and lives with a male with, I hope I say this right, Hodgkin's lymphoma. So he will deteriorate in front of my child. Sick. Welfare, they wouldn't know the meaning. Child abuse, being denied from her brother also.
And again, this child has been taken from its mum and then put with this guy. Where's the trauma in that on its own? And you're right, this child's going to gain a bond with this guy and gain a bit of trust with this guy and start, you know, living a normal life, or trying to live what it thinks is a normal child's life. It's going to be taken away from this guy. So again, it's mental and emotional abuse. And the same very reason why social workers remove children. Putting them in an environment where there's no connection. Say again, Bob?
Claire Ritson, yes, we had the same guardian, which means they have preconceived ideas, shouldn't be allowed. We have been trying to get records for over 2 years. And your sister said she's going tomorrow with Jamie to get her records. And
I urge all you people to go and get your social care records, because you'd be surprised. And if any of you go through the stage 1, 2 complaint with your council, you will get a copy of the file, like I did. And in that file, when I got a copy, it showed my housing association was firm involvement before my child was born, talking about adoption with social workers. My housing association was talking with social workers about adoption and such other before my child was born, behind me back. And the housing association know this. Say again, Bobs?
Becky Mary Brassington. My baby was hit by her carer. SS got her mixed up with someone else's kids. This is the girl that's been contacting you, saying she's got caught, I think, tomorrow?
She's got caught Monday.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Becky Brassington, hat off to you. Good luck to you, my hands on the heart, and I hope you do well. And you do get a reunification. My reunification took, they said 2 weeks. It took just on a week, on the circumstances that I put on the post. The best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. I hope it all goes well for you. But please don't freak out. I know it's easy for me to say this. I didn't freak out when they stole me kid. And why can't they work with this girl, Becky Brassington? Do you know what I mean?
She said, I only lost the case because they didn't give me their evidence until 12 o'clock on the last day.
And that's the tactic they always do.
Well, look what they've done to us. They phoned us up the
court.
night before. You're in court tomorrow.
They phoned us up at 6 o'clock in the evening and said, you're in court tomorrow. That's what they did to us. So I believe what you're saying, Miss Brassington. And the thing is, if you can prove this child's been struck by the foster parent, I'll be putting in complaints to the council.
She's just put a thing on there saying, I have the papers to get her home.
I hope you have. Make sure you're in that court listening to everything your solicitor's putting forward. Make sure you get loads of little post-it notes, sticky ones. Take one of them with you, a little pad of them, a pen. Sit right behind your barrister in the court. And I'll tell you, Becky Brassington, any problems, anything you want to say, don't shout it out. Write it on a bit of paper quickly, poke your barrister, pass in the note. If he doesn't do it, write on the note, why are you not speaking on my behalf, and pass in the note. And make sure your voice is heard. Please don't start screaming out and shouting it's corrupt and showing them cases off internet, because it will make you look mad. To them, it will make you look bad. So just concentrate on your case, and my heart's with you, and please get back to me on how you're getting on and how you do. If you do bring your child home, I'll be so happy for you, Becky. I really will. Fire away, Bob.
I really hope she does, because obviously this comment isn't a very nice one.
Fire away.
Becky Brassington saying she's been punched and raped by her carers. How old's this child? If you don't mind me asking directly.
How old, Becky, is this child? Again, this is what I'll say to you, government. Now, if I was this woman's advocate, Becky Brassington's, I should really, in theory, be able to speak to her child, which would give their child a voice. Because to be listening to social workers and the assessments regarding their professionals, it's not true and transparent. Whereas if I was an advocate in the community for these people, and I had access to the children, along with any other advocate, maybe the child would be heard at the court. Do you know what I mean, babes? And I say to you, Becky, if you can prove this, take it to the highest level. Take it to the ombudsman, everywhere. Fire away, babes.
That happened to her when she was 5 months old, and she's 8 now. Months. From a mother's point of view, I've got to give it to you, because no, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, it's.
Kaylee Marie Morgan said, you've seen how many marks my boys have come to contact with, Jack. I think they are too scared to come to me back to me at court. Please, any contact.
Becky
Brassington, I have photos.
I was just about to touch on that, Becky Brassington. Thanks for putting that on the comments. I urge anybody out there who's got contact, if they see any marks on their children and they're going through court process, please photograph them. Doesn't matter what the contact centre says. If they say you can't get a picture of the baby, the child, just take a picture of the marks. You don't have to get the face in there. And give that to your legal team.
And not only that, if they won't allow you to take the photos, ask on a future
future risk of harm.
That's the one, yeah. On a welfare basis.
Yeah, on a welfare future risk of harm basis. Can the contact supervisor take the picture? Because where's the accountability in these foster carers? It's not let's foster the child or let's take a child in for the extra bedroom tax. Go on, love.
Kaylee said, I got photos. They stopped me from taking photos because of the marks.
Because they don't want you to produce it at court. And I urge you, Becky, if you've got this evidence, you tell the court, I've got concerns for my children's welfare. What counsels this, Bobs? Canopy, she said. Can
I don't know. No, that's Louise Bent. I think that was.
Louise Bent.
Yeah. If Becky Brassington could post what council she's under.
Yeah. Becky, please, when you're putting these comments up, please don't touch on your case, because it might have a detrimental effect when you get there tomorrow. Someone that takes a disliking to you might send to the court what you're writing, and it'll mess your case up. So please be careful what you put about yourself. Because you're in court process tomorrow, and sorry, Beck.
Two things. One,
you don't want to affect it. I really want you to do well.
Yeah. Kaylee said they told me I need to stop brackets gathering evidence. And Becky Brassington.
Kaylee Marie, keep gathering your evidence. Keep on gathering your evidence, because it'll come out. I'm going to get there one day, and you're on my list. I'm going to put everybody's names up there who helps me get out there, and I know they are. And they know who they are, and I know I'm going to get there. I embarrass the government every week doing this, and they're going to get this live. Trust me. Far away, babes. Hence why I say Becky Brassington doesn't put anything too in depth in her case, because I don't want it to affect it, because I am going to send this to Parliament.
Becky said they still haven't done anything. I phoned the police and they said they wouldn't do anything until SS phoned them. I had this phone call 4 months ago, and then she's also put on that.
Who's got the parental responsibility of this child, Becky Brassington? Are you shared Thameside? Are you shared parental responsibility with the local authority? She's going through court process. So go on.
Katrina Collier, my grandson was dangled over a cliff. We went mad, and now it's stage 2 complaint, but they're trying to cover it up.
Take it further. You should go to a panel on the stage 2 complaints. Put your voice forward. You'll have a couple of people there, 2 or 3 people there, independent. You'll have the local authority there. You'll have someone from the data protection team and a few others. You'll all be in a room on a stage 2 panel meeting, and let your voice be heard. If you're not happy with the outcome of that, you can take it to a stage 3 and then the ombudsman. If it's gone through court process, what your complaint is, then it won't go to the ombudsman, because anything that's been heard in court, the ombudsman can't get involved in. Fire away again.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to catch up at the minute, because it's gone a bit.
I've had 2 stage 1, 2 and 3 complaint processes through my local council and for the council. I got everything upheld and smashed them on every one. So hence why for the council wanted me to work for them, because me and my missus was that good. Unfortunately, they didn't want to put cameras on social workers, so I declined. Fire away, babes.
Yeah, I'd just like to say something about the stage panels and all that. The thing is, like we said all along, they delay the stage 2. They drag it out. I mean, how long was that? 6 months nearly?
Yeah.
Just for a stage 2 report. Why? Because like you said, people give up. They go, I'm not waiting for all this load of rubbish, give up.
But the investigating officer who was part of that report, she gave us loads and loads of evidence we'd not seen in the social care records. So look forward to getting that if you're on the stage 2 panel report. Try and get it, ask for copies of it off the independent investigating officer who's doing the report for the stage 2 panel. Correct?
Yeah. Wow, everyone's going a bit mad at the moment over all these children being hurt.
Well, I'd like to say to you, government, 40% of children leaving the care system failed. These are kids in care, failed. The same very reason why your social workers are nicking kids in the community, class cleansing, and you're failing the kids on the same very reasons why you're removing them. And I'll say to you, Theresa May, when are you going to get a grip of it? You're going to have a reshuffle in your cabinet, and I'll say to you, Theresa May, we've met. Why can't I be part of your work engine, Theresa May? Your reshuffle. You know? I've not been elected, but I could still be invited into your cabinet. I think I should get some just desserts for it. What is your judicial system worth to you? Is it worth the change? You know? Is it worth the accountability going through court and holding you to account? Central government ignoring the fact. Should be ashamed of themselves. And all them MPs that are furious within the Conservative Party about what's going on Facebook. I feel sorry for them professionals. I do. And I seriously think that's why the Conservatives, there's lots of infighting. Because of what Jackie Dole Price has done. And co. Liz Truss knew all about it. You know? By the way, Babs.
Two things from Kaylee. One, she said, removing my baby on risk of future events, yet allowing him to be physically abused. Social services can't see harm that's in front of them, never mind in the future. And she's also put on there that she's told the supervisors and all that if the kids turn up to contact one more time with marks, she's going to stand in front of them and phone the police.
I'll make you right. I'll make you right to phone the police, because if the social workers are not listening and no one's listening, I'd probably phone the police.
Claire Ritson's just made a really good point, actually. Why don't the government consult parents who have had experience of children's services? Are they frightened of what they will hear? Yes, is the short answer to that one, isn't it?
I think they are frightened, and at the same time, I think it's class cleansing at the highest level. They don't want no one sorting out the social care. They don't want social workers to be held to account. The Healthcare Professional Council is where the social workers go to be held to account, where they're registered. That's not accountability. The amount of children that are being failed coming out of the care system and then targeted later. Oh, you're a failed looked after child. We're targeting you now. And that's what happens. It's 10:30. I'm going to start thinking about winding it down. Any more, Babs?
Chris Griffin, I just want her home, hun. I know if I get her back, she will never be the same funny little girl I had, who put a smile on my face every morning with the words, I love you, mummy.
My heart goes out to you, Chris Griffin, and I'm looking into adoption and the processes. I have been asking a few people close to me. If I could adopt every child, I would. What I'd like to say to you, government, if I ever come into any money, I would buy one of your old prisons. And within them walls of that prison, I would take in families and help them regarding social services. And they would live on my grounds, where there would be my shop, my farm, you know, a self-sufficient community. That's what I would have. And that's what it's going to end up in the UK. Self-sufficient communities. You're going to have it. You're going to have it, mate. Walled off communities. It's getting that way, where people are now going to start thinking, do you know what? I'm going to make my own community. Fuck the government. Because social services is something else. And after the Misty Barnes case, I'm going to get a restrainer order out on social services and for the council to keep away from me. And then I'm going to take them to the family court to seek their looked after children because they failed them with a threshold statement in the family court. That's what my aim is. Hence why the council are getting rid of all their looked after children, because they know my intentions. Fire away, Babs.
Kaylee, they sent my baby back to foster placement after fingerprints on the top left leg and didn't bother taking him for medical until 5 p.m, bearing in mind contact was at 9:30. And we've also got one from Marie Keegan-Thomas. It scares me that my oldest daughter is in foster care because I bet you she will be targeted with her own kids in life, full circle.
She will. She will be targeted. And this is part of the cycle wheel, the hamster cycle wheel for class cleansing. And the creators of class cleansing and doing the class cleansing are social services. Because the government are turning a blind eye to all this. They're turning a blind eye to all this. And in the Conservative Party, there's infighting. Pissed off every week. He's on that bleeding Facebook slagging us down. Our judicial system and everything. Put a stop to it. They don't know how to put a stop to it. And I urge you, Theresa May, to contact me, because me and my missus are open-minded. We're about solutions, you know, in the social care, children in care, families screaming to be heard. That's what we're into. Fire away, Babs.
Laura Nicholson. Well, my son died and no one told me until 3 days as he was in care. I think it is shocking. I've also got 2 more to read out quickly before they scoot off my screen because the comments are going a bit mental.
They didn't tell her when she passed away?
No, 3 days. Laura, how old was your son when he died, if you don't mind me being
Can
nosy?
you get me a couple of biscuits, babe? Come on, later. Sorry, you Facebook viewers. I've had nothing to eat today because I've been doing this, that and the other and took the kids to the woods and what have you.
We're not going to be jammy and dodgy today, though.
I'm not going to be jammy dodgy today and eat me jammy dodgers, but I am going to have a couple of biscuits while I'm live. Thanks for following me at OneMisty on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube, #ScousMegaphone Man. I'm a children's rights campaigner and I specialise social care. Forced adoption is what I work on, campaign on. I also campaign for all paedophiles to be used to cure children's diseases, because as far as I'm concerned, once you take a child's right and kill a child or abuse a child sexually, then as far as I'm concerned, you should be sent off to the NHS labs to cure children's diseases, not be put into prison, taking up prison spaces. We need to share this, and that's the only thing #ScousMegaphone Man asks for, and that is to share his live feeds, because every time these posts get shared, and my heart, trust me, the government hate it. The fact that I'm on this computer week in, week out, and they can't send the police to come and see me to shut me down, because what I'll say is the truth. The fact is it's that I'm embarrassing them.
You're going to have to get up, I can't reach.
I'm going to let Cheryl waffle on a few of the comments just so I can munch around these couple of biscuits, because I've got a bit of head rushes and that where I haven't had a cup of tea or anything to eat since like 2 o'clock, so, and I've been training far away, Bob.
Yep, we've got Becky Mary Brassington. They got my baby mixed up with my ex-partner's ex. They should have taken her kids, but they took my baby. Kaylee Marie Morgan,
There's quite a few cases that we're hearing now of taking the wrong children. Babes.
I know. I'm still finding this all strange. You see, we've got all this technology in the world, right? We can, at the click of a button, we can speak to someone on camera, live now, over however many countries, but social workers can't get the right baby right. It don't make sense to me. We can print things in 3D nowadays. Social workers can't get babies right.
It's the paperwork, Bob, isn't it? Yeah. And do you know what? Judges are sick of it, babes. Judges are sick of it. Look what Judge Wallard was like in front of us. He weren't happy.
No.
And Lynn Roberts, she was frowning throughout the whole court process. Not frowning, but you know what I mean?
She was baffled, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a comment that Kaylee's put up saying, none of the children are the same, hun, but waking up to them little faces and their little voices is what will make your grin from ear to ear, and that nightmare is over. I can actually say something on that. I mean, Misty was obviously a month old when she went, nearly 1 when she came back.
She was 4 weeks old when she was taking Misty, and when she came back, she was 10 months, wasn't she?
Yeah. And that is, I mean, that's a shock to the system.
Cheryl was a mess, the whole time, a mess. And it was hard for me to cope, watch my missus, who I love, go through that. You know, I couldn't just go knock him out. So it was hard for me to cope and deal with the fact that my missus has hurt so much and I can't go and deal with that. But I did deal with it. And all it's done is made us a stronger couple. To sit here and advise you people and help you people. Go on, Bob.
2 things. I want to touch on what you've just said, but Laura Nicholson has just said, my son was 3-year-old. He was in care, and because he was in care, they said I didn't have the right to know. Now, I am going to say something on that on a personal level, which is I cannot begin to imagine how you're even feeling, let alone sympathise with it, because Misty's 4 now, and no, that's beyond heartless. I mean, I know it sounds harsh to say, but if you've got an animal, you've got a pet, and it's in pain and it's hurting, they go, oh, we'll be humane to it. Why aren't you humane to these parents?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? They say, oh, we're an animal-loving nation. Why don't we become a people-loving nation?
But they are humane to people that Baby P, their parents.
Yeah.
Colombia.
Baby P, new identity, new everything.
They're humane to them people.
They walked into that home. It was
cleansing.
Absolute disgrace, that home. It was filthy, it was dirty, there was stuff, well, I won't say what, all over the floor because you're eating. There was everything everywhere. But yet they walk into homes where they might have a bit of clothes on the sofa, or they hoover up that day. Oh, the children's at risk of harm. How'd you like that one? How can you walk into a home that's absolutely diabolical and go, oh, I'll tell you what, we'll come back in 2 weeks and see how you're getting on? How about, no, you scruffy little tramp, clean your home up and we're taking your kid off you? Not walk into a nice house where they're loving them and go, oh, you know, you frowned at the kid a bit then, I think you're not connected with that kid, let's take it off you. No, mate, it's wrong. Like with that, I'll go on us, because obviously it's the only one I can go on, really.
Yeah, but when you look into the social workers' lives, babes, have you seen the state of the way some of them live? Do you know what I mean? And they're going into other people's homes, judging people.
No, if anyone wants a good laugh on social workers, right, we're all down in the dumps at the minute, we'll have a good laugh. Keep an eye on the repeats of can't pay, we'll take it away, right? There's a woman on there, they go banging on her door, you've not been paying your rent, you're in arrears, we're booting you out. Oh, please, 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 I've got to go work. Sorry, love, we don't care what work. But I'm a social worker.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody are you now?
You can't pay, we'll take it away. Keep your eye out
and
for
what
it.
happened? She got evicted and got told to go down the council. I bet she didn't get put in temporary accommodation.
Probably not, babe. Probably not. But I think the government are going to start waking up and smelling the coffee. They're quietly, the government are all up in arms over this. Facebook Live, Scouse Megaphone Man. Trust me. Because I'll sit here each week taking a piss out of their social care. And there's not a blind thing they can do about it. You can't send the police round because I've not broke the law. Freedom of speech. And I'm exercising that right. You know? My human right was breached. Badly. And I couldn't take no action because of my human rights, because you're supposed to do it within a year. And I couldn't because I was on a supervision order for a year, which prevented me from taking action against my human right being violated, the right to be a family. But it's shocking, babe, isn't it?
It is, it's disgusting.
These social workers are class cleansing. And I'll say to you, government, it's only going to take one family to take you on. Because these parents are feeling like, what's the point? There's one woman there, Louise Bent, won it, babe?
Yeah.
5 children, adopted them. When can that woman be a mum? From start to finish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
5.
I'm not sure, no, it was 5 years that the council had the Ofsted report. I'm not sure how many kids she had. She didn't. How many kids did you have, Louise, if you don't mind me asking?
It's systematically targeting the same people, babes.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. I mean, how can they say? I mean, there's another thing I don't get.
Oh, that child's never going to go to uni. We'll take that one, we'll put it through the care system, we'll fail it, and then we'll target that one again.
Yeah. I mean, you take our story.
How much does that one child make money? How many jobs does he create, and how much money does he make? Each child.
You say about class cleansing, right? Look at what they said to us when we got Misty back and we start going through the complaints process. What do they say to you? Oh, well, you got your child back, you know, you should be happy. As if to say, oh, you down there, you know, we give you something back, you should be happy with that.
Yeah.
No.
And it weren't even the social workers that handed the children back. It was the foster carer who was well over age to be looking after kids, who was grieving for her husband who passed away.
While Misty was in her care.
While Misty was in her care.
Louise Ben had 6 children adopted.
6 kids! And I'll say to you, government, 6 children. These children could meet up as adults and go on to have children. I'll put that thought into you, government, because look at the Isle of Wight. It's rife with incest. Rife with it. And the government will keep all that quiet. You only see it on the BBC once. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And what I'll say is the government, if you cross 2 dogs, oh, we're taking that, it's a dangerous dog. We're taking that. That's what the government do. It's like a child. We're having that. Future risk of harm. We're having that. Pre-birth assessment. Oh yeah, look, we can place that newborn. It's newborn babies that are being taken, mostly. The newborn babies are awaiting for these social workers. And with this universal credit, I'll say to you, government, is your social care equipped for it? Because at the minute it's on its knees. And you've got me taking you to court on it, social care. What are you going to do, Jeremy Corbyn, social care? Are you going to hold it to account?
Not unless it's part of a union, he won't do nothing.
He's not part of a union, so he's not going to, is he?
No.
And I'll say it to any political parties out there, I'm a voice for the children, why can't I be that voice? If children's safety is paramount, prove that fact. And I do say to you, Theresa May, I hope I'm part of your cabinet reshuffle. I might be getting above myself, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Go on, Bob.
Three things. One, Kaylee Marie Morgan, you're right, you can never forgive a social worker really for all the things you've missed.
No,
because even now we can't. There's little things you never forget. Becky Mary Brassington, my baby got taken at 3 weeks old.
We know how you feel.
Exactly how you feel. I need to get this in quick before my comment goes off. It's my final hearing tomorrow and I'm having a really bad panic attack, CJ.
CJ, oh, I can't even get to it because of my car, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's long-term foster. You're not going to win this court case regarding bringing your kid home. What you've got to do, CJ, is work with the local authority as much as you can, and I'll help you do this. I'm going to phone you.
She says she's trying, but it's just so hard.
Please be strong, my darling. I mean that. I want everybody who's part of this forced adoption to give this CJ a bit of moral support, help. Inbox her, put it on her wall, give us some good feedback on being strong for court, as well as this Mrs. Brassington, Becky Brassington. I want all the community on forced adoption on #Scouts Megaphone Man to hammer their profiles of all goodwill gestures because they're both in court tomorrow, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to phone you up, CJ, after the Facebook Live. I'll have a cup of tea, a couple of pieces of toast, a little bite to eat, and I'll phone you. But please be strong. And I'm going to help you try and get your children back, CJ. I've told you that it's not going to be a long, short-term thing. It's going to be a long road, but we're going to do it together. If the local authorities see that you're working with me and they can see you're making change, it'll do benefit for you, and we can try and work on it. I'm going to start thinking about closing the Facebook Live down tonight and play a song out. Thanks for joining us. Please share this. This song relates to all of us. It's not our song, but
Tim said you're a proper legend.
Cheers, Tim. Is that Tim Gooner?
Yes.
The man that's seen me put people to sleep. Blink of an eye.
A very nice lullaby.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Tim. Try and share this.
Build your barriers.
This song goes to government.
The taller I become, the farther you take my rights away.
This is our community, forced adoption. I love you all.
Faster I will run.
I'm not going nowhere. I'm here for you.
Kaylee said, Jack Warrior with the red hat.
You can decide to turn your face.
Go and get a red hat, everybody. Go and get a red hat. Share your picture and your post of your red hat.
Change it from the Green Army to the Red Army.
I know that I can make it.
We're going to do this.
You're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone.
All them MPs in the Conservative Party pissed off because I'm here week in, week out, telling them how it is. For you people, change.
Kane's going to get a red hat Thursday.
Get your red hats. Loads of red hats. We're going to do this. We've got the moral high ground. You have in me.
Kaylee's going to give her boys theirs as well. Red hats.
Snowy Owl, contact me please. The clothing brand Snowy Owl, contact me.
Edward Thomas, be the man in the mirror.
Something inside so strong.
One way or another, I will get there.
Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough.
Splitting all them siblings up in care. And emotional abuse.
When we know better, just look them in the eyes and
What do you know, MPs?
gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway.
Fail looked after child. Smacking you right where the sun don't shine, mate. Making it sting. Share this. @1Listening on Twitter. Follow me. I tell the government how it is. Share this. Give children a voice. Your child. I've got my government like that, right between the legs of forced adoption, waiting to squeeze them tightly. Change. I love you all. Love you all. Love you, sis. Thanks a lot. Katie Marie Morgan. Chris. Love you. Join me next Sunday, 9 o'clock. I do a midweek Wednesday, 9 o'clock. It's About You Wednesday. See you all Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Love you loads. #Scouts Megaphone, man. Share this.